kabibayan. Nagsimula ng sumabog ang bulkang Pinatubo kaninang umaga. Simula kaninang alas
Lahar Hazards Task Force na posibleng mahiwalay ang Zambales sa bayan ng Botolan hanggang sa Castillejos. Dahil sa bangka ng lahar, nawasaki ng ilang mga pangunahing tulay sa probinsya.
Lies in the Pacific Ring of Fire, making it vulnerable to natural disasters, from earthquakes and volcanic eruptions to floods and droughts. This geographical location has shaped the nation's history as one of the most devastating events in its history unfolded on June 12, 1991. The eruption of Mount Pinatubo. This eruption would go on to become one of the most catastrophic volcanic events in recorded history, not just because of the eruption itself, but because of the lasting impact it had on surrounding communities. One of the people who can be described as a hero bravely faced the terror that the eruption came to bring in the municipality of Bacolor, being one of the few people who has a telecommunication device, which we call a two-way radio, that already saved countless lives because of the early warnings from them, and also to monitor the status of the heart.
Nagtanong ako, kung halimbawa magbe-breach yung river na yon, is there a possibility na papasok dito sa bayan? Sabi nila, hanggang 200 meters lang. Layo nun. Hindi namin pansin. Madalit salita, nag-break sa Santa Barbara. Duman dito yung lahar. Doon na umpisa ng paglubog ng bayan ng Bacolor. Dumaan dito, mainit. Talagang mapapasok ka. Marami nang natatabunan. Yun na ang naging problema. Mass evacuation. Ang tao, makikita mo sa daan, nagdadala ng damit. Hindi alam kung saan magpunta. Kita mo dyan, naglalakad dyan. Saan kayo pupunta? Hindi namin alam kung saan mag-evacuate.
He was an embodiment of resilience, despite the hardships that followed, when he decided to stay to save his hometown from the calamity. An inspiration to some due to his bravery, which made Bacolor also famous because of his efforts. Tatay Nico, who was a counselor at the time, along with his friends and companions, hand in hand, did all they could to save Bacolor. They are the ones who go out and are on the lookout for where the lahar will flow through and will mark the areas safe for the people to pass through. Along with his doctor friend in Bolajon, they brought the patients who were affected and wounded by the lahar into his home and treated them. He also praised the priest that he knows, calling him a bayani because of his good leadership towards them, whilst saving the church from the lahar flows.
Fear was constant, but I remember neighbors helping each other. Some shared food and water, even though they didn't have much. I also saw strangers offering rides to those stranded. It reminded me of the strength of our community.
The eruption was a life-alerting event for those who experienced it, as vividly recounted by survivors like Tita Maya and Gloria. Their narratives reveal the depth of devastation and resilience felt by individuals, families, and community before, during, and after the disaster. Life prior to the eruption was simple and predictable, characterized by work, school, and family routines. Despite small tremors and occasional signs from the volcano, most people live without significant concern, unaware of looming catastrophes. It was stated by Mr. Padre and Ramos by the Personal Communications this 2024.
The hardest part was the uncertainty, not knowing if our home was destroyed or if the worst was yet to come. Breathing was difficult because of the ash, and basic supplies were hard to find. Every step forward felt like a struggle.
Actually, in business before, kaya pasalubong center, no? Kasi we're near Clark Air Base, so most of the time, travelers going to and from Baguio, dadaan ng laking Balacan.
Same story from our primary sources, Maglaki has also witnessed the disaster brought by the eruption. A teacher and also a daughter who showed their own way of being resilient during the time of calamity. Her family owned a pasalubong center at the time. Business was booming before the day of eruption. Production wasn't any problem, not until Mount Pinatubo erupted. Their business quickly plummeted due to the decrease of supplies and also because of the unsafe environment they were in. She was at home at the time in Mabalacat City where the eruption happened. The day became night, literally because we cannot see anything. There was a brownout. Lights are only coming from vehicles that pass by, she stated. She said that the event was something that they have never experienced before, despite having experienced typhoons, heavy rains, and flooding. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions were a first for them, and by far the worst, she said. She also stated that during that time, there were no means of communication, thus leading to people shouting or looking for their families as they were stranded. Ashes continuously fell, making it hard for them to see, she said. The experience was unusual and scary. Looking back on the very rough, painful, traumatic, and scary moments of our Kapampangan people, there was a business that arose, and it was the choir business. It became a significant driver of Pampanga's economy. With the sign of the eruption being sought after, Pampanga became the best place to buy sand. With well-organized rules led by Callum, the Kapampangan alulugod at matapat. It became the second highest province in the Philippines for locally sourced revenues. Pampanga earned at least 2 billion in profit over the last 41 months as of 2023. This exemplifies the resilience, innovation, and resourcefulness of Kapampangan people, showing that they could only capitalize on the eruption's aftermath for their advancement and growth. Despite the huge challenges, survivors managed to rebuild their lives by using their courage, faith, and unity. The devastating 1991 Mount Pinatubo eruption highlighted the Philippines' vulnerability to natural disasters, and the avert crisis permanently altered the lives of Filipino people. It was a catastrophic event, and its effects were particularly felt in Pampanga, where communities were virtually wiped off the map. The eruption's destructive power, especially lahars, caused immense suffering. People like Tatay Nico, Tita Maya, Gloria, and Maglaki served as example of both the terrible devastation caused by the eruption and the perseverance and bayanihan spirit that arose in its wake. The tragedy demonstrates the vulnerability of human life and the power of groups that were solved by brave actions, evacuations that changed lives, and acts of shared unity. It is a never-ending evidence of the Filipino people's unwavering spirit, but changing depressing moments into histories of survival and resiliency as they continue to overcome hardship with hope and determination.
God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in